today's episode of Conversations with Tim Otitoju, my friend Atif and I talked about growth mindset versus goal mindset and how it relates to branding. It is something that most entrepreneurs struggle with. We often focus on goals, celebrating those goals, reaching those goals, and we forget about the journey along the way and the things that we've learned. My friend Atif started his company about 9 months ago. So his entrepreneurial journey has been a short one, but he's experienced a lot of success along the way and experienced a lot of growth along the way. I'm very thankful that he's here with us today and is willing to share his journey with us. I hope you enjoy my conversation with him.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Conversations with Tim Otitoju. It's been a while, but sometimes life gets in the way of the things that you love to do, and you have to take care of life. This podcast is something that I love to do, and today I'm excited to be back at it with my friend. He's here in the Queen City. He might not be here right now, but he's from the Queen City here in Regina. His name is Atif Mohammed. He's the owner of Atlas Mortgage Group. Hey, welcome to this podcast episode here. How have you been? How are things with you?
I've been good. First, thank you so much for having me on your podcast, Tim. I'm actually, you probably don't know, but you are one of the reasons I started my podcast too. So just want to let you know.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah. I've been good. I've been really good. We just launched a brokerage in Alberta. Basically yesterday. It's been a couple of months, but we launched it yesterday. So it turned out really, really well.
Oh, that's amazing. All right. So you're already launching a brokerage in Alberta already. Yeah. We're gonna get back to that. But tell me a little bit about your background and how you got into the mortgage broking business and how you ended up with your own brand.
Oh, yes. Yeah. So I was working for one of the big bank for 6-7 years almost. And I was actually going to leave the bank and become a realtor. And it's because of you guys, all my friends. And I was like, I would love to be a realtor. But then I realized quickly that that's not something I want to do because I don't like going in home, showing home. So I'm the guy who walks in the house. If it looks good, I'll buy. So for me, it wasn't something that I thought I could be helping people out. But I used to love numbers. I used to love doing financing when I was working for the bank. So the bank told me, hey, why don't you become a mortgage specialist with us, right? I became a mortgage specialist with the bank. And what happened is after 6-7 months, meeting a lot of realtors that you guys became my friends, I started realizing that I wasn't able to help my clients, which I'm not talking bad about banks. Banks are amazing. They're really good to work with, but being just locked in with one rate, a lot of times client will come, they're like, hey, I'm getting this rate from this broker because he has access to so many banks. So for me, from there, after 11 months, I left the bank and I started working as an independent broker, a mortgage broker with one of the company we have in Saskatchewan. I did that for 3 years. And while I was doing it, a lot of mortgage brokers were coming to me. They're like, Atif, what are you doing? How are you growing your business so much? I would love to be a part of what you do or how you do, if you can teach me. And I'm like, teach you what? I just started. I've been just doing it for a couple of years. Then a couple of them joined with me. They joined the brokerage. We did a couple of things, and I started realizing I like doing things with the people, with my team. And I'm instead of doing it with just someone else, why don't we just start our own brand, right? So that's how Atlas Mortgage Group was created. We launched it last year in October. And when we launched, we were 8 of them. We are now 13 mortgage brokers in a team.
That's amazing. That's amazing. You said earlier that you just launched in Alberta. Now, not many people that started a company, 9-10 months ago can say they've already expanded to a different province. I started my company 9 years ago. I'm only expanding now to a different province. So how are you doing it? How are you growing so quickly? And what is so unique about your brand or your brand message that people are resonating with, that they're like, okay, we want to be a part of this?
The biggest thing is, Tim, people need good coaching mentor or mentor or people to guide them. we don't have that many a lot in our business. I'm not trying to be rude to people, but there's like, you guys doing amazing job. That's the one thing I love about how you guys are, because when people come in with you guys, I've never heard anything bad ever about you, which is beautiful, because we always busy or make mistakes. So a lot of people need guidance in our business, right? So one of the thing is with us is somebody wants to join us first, like we just don't take anybody just like that. So we pick our people who we want to come in, and we all help each other out. So that's why, because I can help a person so much, but if everyone else is helping with me to help each other, that is the biggest thing with our team. Is like we help each other out. If somebody needs help, most of the time they don't call me, they'll just call each other and find out what's going on. And then I'll get a call at the end, oh, it was done. So that's the one thing I've been creating, because I just want people to know this is like a family little brokerage we have. We're not looking at, I'm not trying to create 100 people or 200 people team. Like, I don't think I would ever do it, because it doesn't make sense. I would rather have, same thing in Alberta. What happened is I have a couple of brokers from Alberta reach out to me, and they're like, we would love to be a part of your team. And I'm like, I never thought about going there. So then I went, met them, and I started realizing, I'm like, you know what? I want them to be in my team. It's actually, I want them more than they need me. Right.
Yeah.
I have now, a lot of real estate changing towards AI, technology, and all those. Right. So when I met the new brokers, and I'm like, this is amazing. This is what my team needs. Actually, you guys are going to help us out more than I'm going to help you out. Right. Yeah. So this is why the people, like, not going to lie to you, growing the team, I have no issue. I get about 2 to 3 applications a week now. The mortgage broker wants to be a mortgage. It's insane. It's just, I have to make sure that when I'm bringing somebody in, they understand the value, and they understand that, hey, like, it's not a part-time job. It's not something you can do it for a couple hours a day. Like we do weekly meeting, a Monday call. If you're not on the Monday call for a couple of weeks, it's probably not best fit for you, right? Because I'm trying to make sure everybody's jumping on Monday call. We're talking about things we need to know. We're trying to grow together, right? Yeah. This business you can do so well if you work hard, but it's a self-employment.
That's true.
It's a really good thing and it's a bad thing. Bad thing is, it's like you can wake up and you can do whatever you want for like 6 to 8 hours, but you forget that the things you're doing today, that's what's going to grow your business in a couple of months. Right. So in our team, we do a lot of different things. So basically, we have a team right now. It's called Atlas Masterminds, and every month we have a different challenge we come up with, and the whole team participate with that challenge. Right. And that challenge, it won't be like, hey, close $2 million deal. We don't care about annually goal or yearly goals. We care about what you're doing every day. Right. So this is why the brokerage been just working really well. Everyone's in the team been super happy, and they're loving what they're doing, because we do every week or every month we have different goals here.
Well, that's amazing. One thing that you said is that this business, you're self-employed, right? So it's not a part-time job. I remember something that someone said to me. One of the first real estate conferences that I went to when I started in this business was Richard Robbins. I flew to Toronto. I wanted to experience my first real estate conference. And I remember he said something that, you can work in your business and you can work on your business. So he said, when you're working in your business, you're just waiting for someone to call you so you can just show them houses or go to a listing appointment and things like that, right? But when you're working on your business, you're creating brand goals, value propositions. You're creating how to build your pipeline. You're creating, how your business is going to look in the next 5 years. And what a lot of people forget to do is to work on their business. Right. Yeah. And even the really successful agents, they get so busy working in their business that they forget to work on their business. Then when that pipeline dries up, they don't know what to do. Right. So that was something that really stuck with me. And as you were explaining that, you have to work, you have to find a way to keep working, set goals, and keep working in the business. That just kind of reminded me of what I heard probably about 13 years ago now. That has kind of stuck with me since.
Right? Yeah. I don't know if you've ever done it, but there's a game that I actually learned from another coach when I was, because I believe in coaching a lot. This is, again, working on your business or finding out different ways to grow. There's a game called red light, yellow light, and green light. So again, so what do? You basically, whoever listening to it, you guys should try it. But the best thing is like you wake up from the morning, and then now every 15 minutes of an hour, You do the things and then you stop. You have an alarm on your phone or whatever you want to do it. You stop for 5 minutes and you write down what you've done for 50 minutes or 55 minutes. So it would be like, the green would be you working on your business. So like, I'm talking to Tim to like do a lunch and learn with his team. So that would be me growing in a business. But I have a file that I'm working on that would be yellow. So the business I already have, I'm working on, it would be yellow. But the things that I want to do to grow my business, that would be green. And then red would be sitting on your Instagram or Facebook and stuff, and the thing is, yes, you can do it a couple of times. And when you're doing it, not going to lie, your brain's going to be like, oh, I'm doing this. You're going to stop yourself. When I was doing it, I seriously, on my business, I only work an hour and 40 minutes. Hour and 40 minutes I work on my business. Mostly my 5 hours was working in the business because I have files. The financing wasn't going through. So I'm like, that's all I'm giving my time to grow my business, which is insane. And remember though, I actually knew I was playing this game, right? Yeah. So I was stopping myself going on Instagram and stuff. So if you think about it, if you actually just doing it in random day, you can do it all day and see if you can remember what you've done, but that would be hard. That's why I thought like an every hour would make sense. But that's all I worked on my business, if you think about it, right? So people like actually, a lot of people you meet, they're always working in the business because you get so busy, right?
That's true.
And people don't believe, people think that doing the files or like applications coming in for us and doing the mortgage application, sending them, getting approved. Yeah, that's really important too. But that's just going to keep coming, right? But if you're not going to find a way to grow your business with finding things to do, or finding different ways to grow your business, like that's what you need to do in this business, because other things will come. Like my relationship with you now, Tim, is there. I know that if you have a client that you think is a perfect fit, you'll send it to my way. Yeah. So for me, when the client's coming, or I'm not going to pay attention so much of you and me because your relationship is there, right? So I'm not going to say, hey, this is what I'm working towards the growth. No, it's already there. It's already settled. Now what you got to do, you got to figure out to grow your business more, right? So if you never play the games, you should play with the team, and you would be amazed that how much time people actually spend on Instagram and Facebook and doing things they shouldn't be.
That's amazing. You know what? It's something I'm gonna have to even do myself and kind of see where I am on that diagram, right? Of the green light, red light, and yellow light, right? So exactly. You said earlier that you're big into coaching and you love coaching. Right. I know a lot of people in business, and even nowadays, coaching has become very important. A lot of leaders have leadership coaches that they work with. Even business owners who have business coaches to work with. In our industry, we have coaches that we work with, things like that, right? So how has that really benefited you, right? What would you say are some of the importance of coaching that has kind of helped you grow your business?
Whatever you see right now is all because of the coaching. The brand you're seeing is because of the coaching. So the reason I want to say is because of the coaching is, I'm not like Saskatchewan as a Regina where we grow. It's all about relationship, right? Which is the most beautiful thing. You build a relationship with the people. But now if you want to take your business to the next step, where you're going to grow in Alberta or Ontario, things like that, or you want to not work so much in your business, you need to have coaching, because a lot of people are doing things way different than we can ever imagine. Or we think we know all of it stuff. So right now in our brokerage, from a client coming in and from the client is having a relationship, we are running 4 different softwares.
Wow.
That's how many software we use. But now if you think about it, client comes in and they do a pre-approval with us. We have like a software, they send out about 12 videos. So every month they get a video from us teaching them something. So now client is looking at homes with you, but they don't they don't remember their mortgage broker, or they're missing out. So for us, we want to make sure we're keeping in touch with the clients somehow, right? Same thing with after the possession, we do giveaway for our clients every month. So we're running so many different software, but everything that I've learned, or I've actually learning right now, is coming from the coaching. So if people, the only problem it comes down to, not gonna lie, there is some time, because I do 4 or 5 coachings a year at least. I would say 1 or 2 coaching out of them is sometimes you're like, oh, you know what, was it worth it? Did I need that? Like it does happen, but or 2 or 3 coaching that I've had, that would be just amazing, right? That should change the way I look at things. The thing just change the way I believe in things, right? So coaching, I believe in, is everything in our business, especially if I'm talking to you right now as a person, if I'm working for you or working in your team, you can give me so many things as what you've learned. right? But now imagine there's hundreds of other minds out there was doing things way different.
That's true.
Right. So even in my team, I always tell them like you guys should hire coaching. It can be anything, business, personal, because that's when you actually start realizing things that people would never tell you, right? Especially in Regina, we believe a lot of relationship, but not a lot of software technology, things like that. Which when you talk to the people from Ontario or BC, and you start realizing, wow, like people are doing business so different. They're like 10 years ahead, right? That is the one thing that I think I needed in my business to make my life more easier, right? So I think coaching for me is probably the biggest thing you can do for your business to grow your business.
The thing that I find though is that sometimes with coaching, people always look and say, "Oh, it's just another expense that I have to pay for," and things like that, right? But what he has done for me also is that accountability piece, right? Because you mentioned earlier, like we're self-employed, right? We're self-employed, and often, sometimes we run multiple businesses at the same time, but that we forget that accountability to ourselves, right? We forget about the working on our business part, and the coach. When you have a coach, they give you tips on how to kind of keep yourself accountable and keep others accountable. Because if you're not keeping yourself accountable, how can you keep your team accountable? How can you keep the people under you accountable, right? So, I've always been a big fan of coaching, right? And I like getting different people's perspectives too, right? Because like if I don't know it all, my way may not be the best way. So if I can learn from others as well, that's always good for my business too, and it's good for the team's business because now we can take that learning and share with the team as well, right? So no, that's an amazing perspective. Now, a lot of people that listen to this podcast, there are people that are either entrepreneurs or want to get into entrepreneurship. Your brand is something that I've been hearing about over and over again. I go on social media, you're there, you talk to clients, we hear about your brand, right? And you've done it in such a short period of time, and you've done an amazing job at it. So, from a branding perspective, how have you been able to create these brands that just resonates with people? Like, what are you doing that is different than everybody else that is your competition?
I'm going to ask you biggest question on your podcast.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm allowed to, but I'm going to ask you a question. Do you know what kind of business we're in right now?
Well, we're in the people business, right?
We are in sales and marketing business.
Yeah.
Right now, like again, you can say it different. You can believe in relationship. You can believe in whatever you'd like, right? But the way you've seen my brand more is we believing into growing our brand faster. And
Correct.
the biggest way to do it is marketing yourself. You can market yourself any way you want, right? If you can start understanding you're a product of the way you're going to market, the way you're going to do your sales, that's how you're going to grow your business, instead of just imagining like relationship or meeting people. That's the way it used to be. So I'm going to give you a biggest example, which I talk to my team all the time. Back in the day when people were doing real estate, right? Let's say, give you example, you were doing it like 15, 20 years ago, where there was no social media.
Yeah.
For you to reach 10,000 people would take you at least a couple of years, right? You go door knocking, you go events, you go meet them, you try to have people remember your face, and that would take you a couple of years. You know how long it takes these days if you actually want to do it? Maybe an hour.
Yeah.
If you can make a good TikTok or Instagram video, an hour. So can you believe it? It's taking you an hour to skip that 2 years of work. And guess how many people are using it? Not that many, right?
Yeah,
so
true.
This is where people are missing, because we are in marketing. It's just the way you approach the marketing business we have is how you're going to promote yourself, right? So for me, that's what I believed in. So for me, when I was creating Atlas Mortgage Group, we had to, like, it took us, the logo you see right there, it took us about 3 weeks to create that logo. I had 8 people worked on my logo to be able to create that logo, because I knew when I created that brand, the biggest thing for me is like have something that I can present it proudly, because I know I can take it far, but I want to make sure I don't look back. I'm like, oh, I wish my name or my logo or anything that just I'm not happy with it, right? But that's why you see it all the time, because we believe in ourselves in marketing any way we can, where people are sitting and people are reaching out or people are waiting for the business to come in. Our team believe in to go out there and make sure our brand is everywhere, right? So this is what we believe in, what we are. We are in sales and marketing business. It's all up to you is how you're going to promote yourself. Now, that's where you have to sit down and you have to look at yourself. If you have 40 hours a week, I can guarantee you right now, a lot of realtors or mortgage brokers I'm going to talk to, most of them don't work 40 hours. And I'm not trying to be rude. Like, yes, again, the successful one got there. Now they're busy, they're getting the deals. But are you sales and marketing for 40 hours a week? Do you know you would see their name left and right if they were? But you don't,
True.
right? Because
They don't.
everybody's just doing it differently. They might do one networking meeting. And I'm not saying relationship is not there. Relationship and people business is there. That's why we do really well. But for people to have relationship and people, they have to come to us. Why
That's
would
true.
they come to you? Right? Oh, I'm just going to go and meet like 100,000 people in like my 50 years of my life. Like, it doesn't make sense anymore, right? Because that's why you see the brand, because we're making sure on social media, anywhere I can that I think is worth of me going out there and presenting my brand, it's going to be there. And we spend about 15 hours on thinking about marketing ideas of what we're going to do every week. That's how much we spend. Right. So that's the biggest thing I can advise people is when they start understanding what business we are in. Yes, every realtors or every mortgage broker we're going to talk in Saskatchewan, they always say relationship. We are in relationship and people business, but to get to that point where people are just keep coming to you, you want to make sure your brand is out there, right? So that's how I've been doing it really well, because I start believing, or I start thinking what my business is. I want to make sure that I'm a marketing business, I'm in sales business, and anytime you're going to go out there, I want you to drive around for an hour, go on your phone or billboard or whatever I can do. I want to make sure you see me 3 times a week at least. That's my goal.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Yeah, we are definitely in the people business, right? Because you're creating relationships, right? And those relationships is what's gonna make your business last a long time, right? But we're also in that marketing business, right? If you don't market yourself out there, you're not going to have the opportunity to create those relationships.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And
so
one of the things I'll tell you, I meet so many mortgage brokers or realtors. They're like, my family member, I was so mad at him. Like, he went with, or she went with some other realtor or mortgage broker. I'm like, okay, but like, did they remember you were the realtor or mortgage broker? Are you doing a good enough job? Because if you think I'm just going to remember my second cousin or my friend doing, I'm like, all my best friends are realtor. Like, for me to remember one realtor, that's going to take so much time. The person who's going to pop up first, like, on my social media or somewhere where I'm doing the deal, I'm just talk to the person because it's right there. So are you doing good enough job that your family member, your friends, the people they're seeing your brand again and again and again to remember you are their person? And you know what? 99% don't do a good job on that.
Well, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. I remember, you said something that, back in the days, the way we did things were different. So when I started this business almost 14 years ago, right? Yeah. And I still remember, like, we used to go door knocking.
Yeah.
Back then we had phone books.
Yeah.
So we'll go get a bunch of phone books and we'll all sit in the room and we'll have a competition, right? Who can book the most appointments? And we're phoning people right through the phone book. We spend hours and hours just phoning random people's phone number. Hey, it's Tim calling from this brokerage. Just wondering if you're looking to buy or sell a house. Do you have any family members looking to buy or sell a house, right? That has changed so much. Right? With social media coming in, it's like the world is at our fingertips. And with everybody, a lot of people are on social media. So you have to make sure that your content sets you apart, right?
Exactly.
Content sets you apart. You can't look like everybody else that is on social media, right? And that's what I've seen with you, is that with your company, your content is different than just the normal mortgage broker content. Right.
100%. Yeah. See, like you just said, the biggest thing, Tim, like you actually sat down, you pick up your phone, you keep dialing, and you're hoping that you can talk with 5 people can listen to you, 5 people in a day, where you're sitting in hours and hours making calls, hang up, no answer stuff, where you can make a good video or do good TikTok or whatever you want to do. You can have 50 to 100 people will listen to who Tim is. right? And I'm not, again, don't take me wrong, I'm not saying doing those things doesn't work. Everything has like, you know, place what you can do. Like, I'm not saying door knocking doesn't help you. Yes, it does if you have time, right? If you think going for 5 hours in your daytime and going to like 200 houses, you think that's more worth for you than maybe doing more social media, that's 100%. I'm not saying it's not, but what are you going to do in 5 hours? What I can do in 5 hours now these days is so different.
Yeah.
It's so different, right? So that's what I mean. It's like, okay, if you want to do it, maybe do both, but don't sleep on that, because that's where the time is changing. Like, you know, AI technology now, people are doing so many things with AI that, you know, people don't even like, you know, people don't even realize it. People think AI is a bad thing. It's not. Like, you know, writing a listing description, right? Or getting a script to make a video. You don't even have to say, hey, I don't know what to say. You go on AI, gives you a video to like, I mean, a script to make a video. So
that's true.
Don't be scared. Use your technology to grow your brand, right? Again, do those 2-3 hours and go do door knocking for 2-3 hours if that's what you think is gonna, or you believe in is gonna grow your business, whatever help you. But the time is everything for us. We have so many hours in a day. That biggest thing is that I've learned in real estate, we want to make sure that our face or our basically name is out there as much as you can in the time you have in a day. It's so hard to do it when you're walking around and hoping that 2 or 3 doors going to answer you, while you can sit at home and find different ways to grow your brand now.
That's
right.
true.
So
That's
what
true.
I mean is, like, as they say all the time, like I've been to so many training for the real estate too, and they're like, the way to grow your business is you go meet 100 people. Out of 100 people, 10 of them gonna actually look for the real estate. One of them gonna write an offer. But to meet that 100 people, now you're looking at like thousands of hours. You know what I mean? Because it's like driving, meeting them, finding them, like all those things. But what I mean is, like, that's what you guys needed to used to do, to be face to face with people, to know who Tim is. You don't need that anymore. You have so many different ways to grow your brand and name. You just have to sit down and just look at your hours. Like, you know, what you're doing in your 40 hours a week. And I can tell you, yes, you might be doing a 2-3 networking a day, but what about the other 30 hours you have in a week?
Yeah.
Right.
That's
so this
true.
is where, like, when it comes to our business, a lot of people don't understand, because we hope that business comes to our phone rings. I met Tim 2 weeks ago as a realtor, as a, like, you know, a person that was going to buy a house and hasn't called me.
Yeah,
But
true
that's
that.
okay. But what have you been doing it for the last three weeks when Tim hasn't called you? What else you be doing to make sure people call you, right? That's what people sleep on, right? And that's one
true.
of the thing that in our brokerage we trying to make sure. I really don't care how many deals you're doing in a month, but I care what you're doing in a month. So that's where we work on growth mindset instead of working on goal mindset. We don't do goal mindset anymore, right? We just do a growth mindset in our brokerage. Right. So you find things that you can grow. So, like, you know, maybe listen to a podcast or a book for a month, and you pick up one task to do in a month. And that's what we do more in our kind of like a challenge, monthly challenge. I really don't care if somebody calls me, hey, I'm closing 10 deals. Good for you, that you don't have to worry about bills anymore.
Yeah.
But I really don't care, because again, like, for me, it's like, I don't care what you've done. Like, that's not something I'm looking for. Like, but what have you done with your hours other than closing deals? Because that's going to close you 100 deals.
That's true.
Right. And that's what people sleep on.
So growth mindset versus goals mindset.
Yeah.
You know, I love it. I absolutely love it. You know, I always preach goal mindset. That's what I've always preached, right? You got to set goals for yourself, and you got to look at how to, you know, what you need to do to achieve those goals, type of thing, right? But it's something that I could absolutely see incorporated into that as well, right? So it's like, hey, yes, you've got these goals, but what are you also doing to grow as well, right?
That's it.
You could totally marry both of those together, and that would give you a absolute amazing recipe for growth and achieving your goals.
Achieve
And
goals,
you know,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
So I want to ask you one of the things, let's say, about the goal mindset. That's why I stopped doing it 3 years ago now. And the reason I did is, one of the year that I was thinking, I was like, oh, I'm gonna do this much. Like, I had target of 30 million. I wanted to do in a year. So biggest example is when you're doing a goal mindset with anybody, let's say you want to do 30 million, but by the time October comes and you have only done 20 millions, what are you going to do to get the 30 million in that 2 months? You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to come. You cannot tell me I can get up tomorrow and go out and grab 10 million in like a week or in like a month. That will never happen. Right? Because what you've done that last 8 months or 7 months, that would have got you that goal right there. But when we sit on the goal as the business not coming in, first it like puts you in a place where you're like depressed or not set. For me, it's like, what is your minimum basically structure you're looking at to pay the bills? Okay, you want to do $50,000 a year, 5 million, 6 million, perfect. Let's stick to that. Now I don't care how many. If are you doing those deals to make sure you pay the bills? Or now, if you want to be like, oh, I've done that for a couple of years, now I want to do 20 million to be able to like do this thing. Perfect, no problem. But now what I do for that is like, I want to make sure you have enough deals coming in. But if you do the daily goal, like, you know, let's say a weekly goal, you have 5 networking a week. If you do that 5 networking a week for a year, it doesn't matter what your goal is, you're going to pass that goal, right? But a lot of times, whatever, if you get to the point where like 7 months in, 8 months in, and you see like your goal was supposed to 30, now you're 10, now your energy drops.
That's true.
Right? Now you feel like, you know, oh shit, I didn't like, you know, did what I supposed to do. I'm not getting, but how can you get to the goals when you took 1 month off, when you sat at home and didn't do anything for a couple of days? Right. And yes, I'm not saying some of the month you will have a good month where you're like, oh, I'm busy. And then you realize, oh, I closed like that much, but I haven't closed anything after that. Because what were you doing every day of those week? That's where when you start realizing, oh, I closed 10 deals last month, but I don't care what that's going to do for us for next month, the month after. But tell me, what did you do last month that actually going to get us 10, 20 deals a month next one? Like, tell me how many realtors you met or builders you met or lawyers you met, right? So that's what it comes down to, a growth mindset.
Oh, that's amazing. You know, growth mindset seems like it's also correlated to working on your business as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that is amazing. So we always have people that ask all the time, hey, you know, I want to get into entrepreneurship in general, or get into mortgage broker business or real estate business type of thing. And they always ask for tips on what to do and how to get going and things like that, right? So if you could share 3 tips that you could share with someone that's been contemplating getting into either business for themselves or into our industry, what would those be?
So it's so funny.
I know I
actually
put you on the spot, so yeah.
Trust me, you didn't. I do that in and out. So one of the biggest thing is, any business you're getting in, first you need to know your cost, right? That's the biggest thing. So look at the cost, whatever you want to do, whatever business you're doing, right? And how you want to do it, right? Like, say, if you want to be in a mortgage broker business, okay. If you're not working for a year, do you have that much cost to be okay, be comfortable if you're getting into a realtor mortgage broker? If not, do you have a line of credit? Like, you know, you want to look at the cost, what you're going to be spending, or living cost, to make sure you're not stressed out. You have enough money for that. So that's one of the biggest things, because when you're stress-free in mindset, like, you know, in your thing, you're not desperate for the check, you're just looking at to grow your brand. You're going to look at business different than running for paycheck. You don't want to run for paycheck. We want to run for the people. We want to do things for people, because money will come back whenever you do good things to the clients. You know more than, you know that more than I do, but like, you know, that's where your mind's shifted. So that's the one of the thing I say in any business you're looking, you look at the cost. That's when you find out. Second thing you want to look at is, whenever you're getting into business, what are you good at? Like, what you will be doing. Right? If you're going to tell me right now, like, you know, I'm opening a restaurant, but I'm going to be chef, I'm going to be payroll, I'm going to be an accountant, I'm going to be this, that's the worst thing you can do to yourself. Right? So what I always advise the people is, find out what you're good at. Maybe if you want to start something and you think you can be all of them, sure, go for it, no problem. But the earlier you find out, like, you know, what things you like to do more, because you will be giving your good hours to that business, and then everything else, give it to the other people, or give it to, like, you know, hire other people to help, right? Those are the biggest thing you want to look at. So my mortgage business, I was my 3rd month in, and I actually hired somebody to do documents for me. And the branch I was with, like the brokerage I was with, they were amazed. They're like, what are you doing? You don't even have any deals coming in. So what I did is I made sure I had 1 year of salary for her. And I told her when she came in, I'm like, look, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't even have any business, but I love meeting people and I love doing mortgages front, but I hate running around and grabbing documents, because I want to meet more people. That's what I want to do. And when she came on, my business just did really well, really, really well. Right. And the last thing I always tell people is, sit down and find out how you're going to market yourself. That's the biggest thing, right? Social media, billboards, like, you know, podcasts, YouTube, whatever you want to do. That's the last thing you want to plan out, is how you're going to market yourself, because, or your business, right? Because those are the little things in businesses, or like, how you're marketing yourself. So one of the things is, like, I was driving from Regina to Calgary, and I can't remember which town is it, but I was driving from there, and I was thinking about coffee, but I'm like, oh, I don't know if there's any Starbucks coming on the way. And I was driving, and I see I think it has to be 15 feet tall pole, a Starbucks pole. I don't know if you know which one I'm talking about. It comes from between Calgary or Regina. And it was far, that the Starbucks was not by the highway. It was like more inner city, but I could see the pole from the highway bridge. I'm like, oh, there's a Starbucks right there. So I took a turn and I actually went to that Starbucks. So you know what I'm trying to say here? Look how they sat down. And you know what? Anybody who's driving on the highway, they're thinking about coffee or Starbucks, they're going to look at our sign. They're going to take a U-turn because they know the Starbucks there, and they're going to come because there's no Starbucks close by, or they cannot have any Starbucks, whatever the reason is. Yeah. But that's what you call marketing in our business, right? Any marketing you're doing, you just have to sit down and find the way to make sure. My goal was Atlas was 6 months, and I wanted to make sure that everybody who's on social media or going out, they get to see my brand 3 times a week.
That's awesome.
And that before I launched the branch, I'm like, this is the way I'm gonna do it. So anybody who's thinking about those 3 things, I know my cost. Like, I know my cost in and out. I can tell you exactly how much I actually pay to run all 4 softwares, my team members, every single thing. I can tell you even to penny how much I actually spend every month, that I know. Those are the things people need to know, right? Like, and again, be stress-free, have enough money to be in a business where you don't have to stress out. Don't think any restaurant business, realtor, mortgage broker, is very few people who get like lucky, or like, they work really hard and they do get deals, but sometimes it takes 6 months to a year, right? Even restaurants or any kind of other business you're looking at, to grow the brand and start money coming in, it takes a couple of years at least.
That's true.
Right. So those are the 3 things I would say.
So preparation, and making sure that you do the things that you're good at, and the other things you can source out, right?
Yes.
I remember a friend of mine that I had on the podcast a couple of years ago said those same things too. And one thing that she said that also resonated was this: if you look at the best CEOs or the best managers out there, they're not the brightest at everything, but they know how to make sure that the things that they're not good at, they surround themselves with people that are good at that, right? Yeah. So you hire the smartest and brightest people to surround you. You don't have to be the know-it-all and be all for everybody, but you need to make sure that you're taking advice from the right people around you, or you're delegating the responsibilities of the things that you can't do to the right people that know how to do it. So I definitely resonate with the points that you shared there, and I'm sure that our listeners are going to resonate with it as well. Now, I know for me, it's easy for me to find you, and I have your phone number, but if we have someone out there that wants to reach out to you, learn more about you, hear more about your mortgage company, or even listen to your podcast, maybe you'll share that with us as well. Can you tell us where we find you?
Yeah, so my cell phone number, anyone who's listening, if you ever need help with any of those, you guys can call me. Phone number is 306-551-2843. You can send me an email. My first name is Atif at atlasmortgagegroup.ca. Yes, I have started podcasts that I've been doing. As I said, I followed Tim back in the day. It is called Real Sask. You guys can listen to real estate agents. I'm trying to have more business owners on that podcast too. But yeah, that you guys can reach out to me any way you guys want.
That's amazing. And if they want to find you online to follow you, see some of your content, what is some of your social media handles?
Yeah, so for Atlas, it's Atlas Mortgage Group. And then for myself, it's Atif Mortgages.
That's awesome. Well, Atif, thank you so much for joining us today. There's been a lot of information that you shared that I'm sure a lot of people listening will find beneficial. And once again, it's been awesome catching up to you. This time on Zoom, maybe next time we'll do it in person.
We will. Thank you so much for having me, Tim.
All right. Thank you so much. And again, thanks for joining us. Conversations with Tim. Till the next episode, stay safe. Have fun.
In the realm of personal development, the clash between growth mindset and goal mindset is an intriguing one. The former champions the idea that abilities, intelligence can be developed through dedication and hard work. It's about embracing challenges, persisting in the face of setback, and seeing efforts as to the path of mastery. On the other hand, the goal mindset centers around achieving specific goals. It fixates on destination, often overlooking the journey and the valuable lessons it can offer. Now, how does this tie into branding? Imagine a business that solely focuses on reaching predefined goals, like hitting a certain revenue figure or acquiring a set of new customers. While these objectives are important, they might inadvertently lead to a fixed mindset, where success is seen merely as achieving the goals rather than learning and growing throughout the process. On the contrary, a business that embraces a growth mindset understands that branding is an ongoing evolution. It values adaptability, innovation, and learning from failure as much as it values hitting those targets. Branding, in essence, is not just about creating a recognizable logo or a catchy tagline. It's about telling a story, fostering connection, and consistently evolving to meet changing market dynamics. A growth minded brand understands that customer preference, market trends, and technological advancements are in the constant state of flux. This mindset encourages a brand to be proactive, always seeking ways to improve and provide value rather than resting on past success. In contrast, a brand entrenched in goal mindset might hit short-term targets, but struggle to adapt when faced with unexpected challenges. It could become rigid, resistant to change, and ultimately lose touch with its audience. The growth-minded brand, however, views challenges as an opportunity to learn, redefine strategies, and revitalize its identity. In conclusion, the interplay between growth mindset and goal mindset is, in the context of branding, is a powerful one. By adopting a growth mindset, a brand can ensure its relevance and resonance in a rapid changing landscape. While goals are an important maker of success, they are only meaningful if they are achieved through a journey of continuous learning, innovation, and unwavering commitment to improvement. So the question for you is, will your brand be fixated on goals or primed for growth? The choice could make all the difference. Thank you for joining us today. Have a great day.